When readers encounter Junji Ito's Tomie, they meet a girl who is less of a character and more of a force of nature that is immortal, seductive, and endlessly regenerative. Since her debut in Junji Ito's manga, Tomie has spawned a long-running series of Japanese live-action films, each exploring her myth in their own manner, and where new victims, new rules of Tomie's regeneration and her endless span of regeneration and murder. Obviously, we needed to finally talk about those adaptations. But in the films, Tomie's personality varies quite widely from one installment to another. Sometimes she's this seductive femme fatale, and sometimes just a quiet and mysterious girl, and sometimes almost even sympathetic. Because each film recasts, obviously, Tomie, and often reimagines her motives, well, it becomes less of a cosmic horror and more conventional villain or even a tragic figure. Ito's manga is surreal and episodic. Speaking of which, the video about this manga will be in the description below. Make sure to check it out before you proceed with this video. Because, I don't know, to me it makes sense. At first you get acquainted with the book and then with its various film adaptations, I think. I don't know. You do you.
We first see Tomie on big screen in 1998, directed by Ataru Oikawa. This one is a slow burn psychological horror that follows the aftermath of Tomie's murder as she mysteriously reappears in the lives of those who killed her. Very true to the manga, I believe. The film emphasizes atmosphere over gore, creating a grounded, eerie mystery rather than a faithful body horror adaptation.
I could find 10 adaptations of Tomie in total, and starting with the 1998 version, we are going to look at the most known ones, but to be fair, in my not so humble opinion, there is yet to be a proper, truly horrifying Tomie story on the big screen. An anthology of 3 short TV movie episodes is called Tomie Another Face, made in 1999. I have not seen this one, but as much as I've heard and found online, this one is infiltrating someone's life, driving them into obsession again. Tomie is back in action, similarly to the manga, but because of its limited budget, it focuses more on this interpersonal tension between the characters, I believe, rather than the supernatural spectacle that this movie should have been. But again, TV series, lower budget, haven't seen it. If you have, tell me what you thought about it.
Now, these next ones are going to be quite similar to each other, albeit with some key differences in what they are focusing on. Like Tomie Replay, released in year 2000, which is centered on a doctor who finds a regenerating lump of flesh that grows into another Tomie. This one leans more into the manga's biological horror, thankfully. Tomie Rebirth, in 2001, tells a story of an artist who kills Tomie during a modeling session. This is an arc from the manga, where Tomie returns to haunt him and his friends in increasingly bizarre ways. Directed by Takashi Shimizu, it carries a Ju-on-like atmosphere, moody, quiet, and ghostly.
Now this one can truly scare the crap out of you, especially if you, as a child, or still, are somewhat afraid of Japanese horror, and it is It is jumpy, it is spooky, and I remember as a kid, as a teenager still, I couldn't properly watch any Ju-on films. The Grudge, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Japanese originals. I've seen both by now, both versions, American versions, the remakes and the originals. I love them all. They're not as terrifying as they were to me when I was younger, but looking at them all now, I can see why was I so spooked. And this Tomie film is, yeah, it goes into that direction and it's creepy as fuck. I highly recommend checking this one out if you are a fan of Asian, Japanese in particular, horror.
In 2002, Tomie, Forbidden Fruit, hits the screens. Well, hits. Maybe in Japan it does, but it was nice to learn about this one as well. This one's more dramatic and character-driven adaptation that introduces a teenage girl who becomes romantically entangled with Tomie. Whoop-de-doo. The film focuses on themes of identity, desire, and the destructive power of idealized beauty.
Tomie the Beginning, released in 2005, is your remake of the earliest manga installments that follows the classic school setting of Tomie's story where the classmates are driven to madness and violence. I liked this one. I couldn't see it in proper quality for some reason, but I got the message, I got the idea, and I liked actually this one. It was quite close to the source material, closest actually, in tone and structure. Again, if you can get your hands on this movie, I suggest you watch it. This one is the best adaptation in my view in regards to adapting the book, the manga. The manga is not that easy to adapt into films, so this one did a pretty good job, if you ask me.
There was also Tomie, the final chapter, Birth, materials for which I could not find, but that installment tells the story of a group of students who murdered Tomie, only to watch her regenerate through a bizarre pregnancy-like process, which I'm kind of glad I couldn't see. As for The Beginning, a remake of the earliest manga chapters, yes, this version follows the classic school setting where Tomie's classmates are driven to madness and violence, and it's perhaps indeed the closest to the source material in tone and structure. Also, Tomie Revenge, released in 2005, the same year as Tomie Beginning, follows a traumatized young woman and a doctor investigating Tomie's influence. This entry blends noir-like mystery with supernatural elements. It presents Tomie as more of an elusive, stalking presence rather than an overt antagonist. In 2007, we get Tomie vs. Tomie. Now, two Tomies compete for dominance after growing from fragments of the same body, dragging a young man into their violent rivalry. It explores the idea of Tomie's duplicates turning against each other, much like in the manga.
Now, this one echoes back to one of the manga's episodes about Tomie duplicating herself and turning against each other. Those clones turn against each other in the manga, and it has those arcs here, and this film focuses on them. It's, again, truly a bizarre pace to watch, but a good time nonetheless. I cannot really criticize any of the films, especially those I haven't seen. This one I have. Still, I can't say anything bad about it. It's just a fun time, really.
And finally, for now at least, we have Tomie Unlimited, released in 2011. It's the most stylized, perhaps, and extreme adaptation, filled with surreal imagery and over-the-top body horror. It exaggerates Ito's concepts into nightmarish, kaleidoscopic chaos, focusing on a girl whose sister returns from the dead, basically.
Well, like I said, in the manga, Tomie is quite set in stone kind of a concept when some film adaptations hint on her childhood traumas and misunderstood outcast labels that are given to Tomie. Well, this is all nice, of course. You can experiment if you want, but I ask myself, why can't an evil entity sometimes just be an evil entity? Sometimes an ugly monster, in this case a beautiful monster, is just a monster. Nothing more, nothing less. Half the time we really don't need to strive and search for hidden meanings everywhere, right? But in Tomie's case, of course, there are people who will seek the hidden meaning, and Ito himself, of course, has put some allegories into this character, into the book. Sure, and it's fun to explore. It's fun to try and view all, take a look at all of the reflections of Tomie. And Tomie's reflections still keep on staring at us from the shadows of these quite old adaptations. This was my little overview of Tomie and various adaptations. I still believe that we need a proper adaptation. Who would you recommend as a director to adapt Tomie on the big screen? And which story do you think fits the bill? Which story would be the most exciting to see on screen? Let me know your ideas in the comments down below. And I thank you all so much for watching this wee one. If you like unorthodox content, please consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb, and make sure to subscribe for more. We do all sorts of stuff here. I thank you all once again, and take care of yourselves and your loved ones.